like, be that as it may, suffice it to say, as you just said now.
God save the Queen, yeah.
For example, yeah. Long may she live. Although I don't know how long she's got. Although, having said that, when Phil sadly popped his clogs and moved on to the underworld, I thought that, okay, this is it. Liz is going to be in a really terrible state afterwards, but she was okay. A few days later, she's out doing it.
I think that she is a very strong woman.
Yeah.
Yeah, and she is, for very, very many people, it's difficult to imagine the numbers. I think that she's a symbol, right? And she knows that she is a symbol. And I hope that she'll live forever, though, of course, it will never happen. But I hope that she'll have, many, many, many years ahead of her.
Yeah, long live the Queen.
Because she is the symbol, right? So we're not really talking about the monarchy anymore. We're talking about her, right? Well, do you really know much about her children, grandchildren? Well, about grandchildren, of course, due to this scandalous situation which happened just the other day. But technically speaking, all of them are in the dark. We don't really know about them. But she's there.
I know a thing or two, but yeah, sure, not as much as I would know about the Queen. But Princess Anne came to our school. Did I ever tell you that?
No, never.
Yeah, we were opening a new sports center, and she came and opened the school. It was pretty cool. She walked past with all of her bodyguards, and she was gone in 5 seconds, and that was it. That was my brief encounter with royalty.
Still, you saw the royalty. Yeah, that's
first and last time they ever let me near a princess. But yeah, and then the sports center is named the Princess Royal Sports Complex in honor of her. But yeah, this is an interesting thing. And I was listening to a podcast with, I don't remember who, but Stephen Fry was on it. And he was talking about this, how it's really interesting to note that, so, if you look at it logically, a constitutional monarchy is a ridiculous thing. It is illogical, undemocratic, and old-fashioned, right? But then if you look at some of the most prosperous, happiest countries on earth, the Scandinavian countries, Spain, Portugal, Belgium, whatever. Is Belgium a monarchy? I don't know. I might be wrong about that. The Netherlands, certainly. Dare I say it, the UK. All of those countries, of course, have their problems and our problems, but that they are by no means tin pot dictatorships. And some of the countries on the other end of that spectrum, I often say the longer the name of the country, the dodgier it is. People's Freedom Republic of what is the same with banks, right? If you have like Surgutneftegas Bank, then I don't trust that bank as much as I trust Sber. Having said that, I come from a country called the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland, so I'm full of shit. Sorry, Vola's mum. But what I'm trying to say is that it seems illogical and undemocratic. And if the monarchy were to disappear tomorrow, I would be upset. But I'd be the first person to say, okay, that's reasonable. It was time. But I think there is something to be said for, let's call it to use your phrase, a symbolic branch of government, right? So we've got the parliamentary branch of government, and we've got the symbolic branch of government. One of my critiques of because think about America, right? America's foundation was a revolutionary one. They were throwing off the shackles of frankly the tyranny of the British Empire. And fair enough. They may regret it, I'm sure. And if they do want to come home, just let us know, and we'll bring you back in. But I've often felt very sorry for the president of America, because they are at the same time the symbolic leader, the military leader, and the parliamentary leader. That's a lot of leadership, and this instinct that we have to to direct our devotion and worship and I hate to use that phrase God-shaped hole, but there is something to it. That doesn't just disappear. Have you seen how the Americans are with their flag? It's creepy. Have you seen how they lower the flag and they fold it up and they do the whole ceremony? They treat that flag like it's some sort of sacred artifact, right? We don't need that, because we've got Her Majesty, we've got the crown, we've got the Queen, we've got we've got Buckingham Palace, and that sort of symbolic. What I'm trying to say is that the monarch acts like a lightning rod for this instinct that we have for leadership, for hero worship. Okay, now when that instinct is directed towards someone who has actual power, that's when you get dictatorships. Now, I'm not going to name which country I have in mind, but I think you can see where I'm going with this.
No, we're being recorded, so I have no idea what you're talking about.
I've already offended Moldova. I'm not going to offend anyone else. But I think there's something to that. And all of this hero worship is directed at an impotent leader. The Queen has no real power. And that's a pretty neat solution, I think. And I think we should be careful.
I think it's not only about that. I think it's about cultural heritage. I think it's about cultural identity. It's about roots, about history, about remembering what you used to have, right? And even though there were some hints on the country whose name finishes with Federation, right, and the president of this country, I still think that there are quite a few leaders out there who we support. Well, not me personally, but a lot of people support. For example, religion, right? Because you can be far from church, but everyone knows who the patriarch is. Everyone would discuss him, and for many people, he would be their role model. So I think that in different countries, even though they don't have a monarch, they still try to find some other symbols. So there can be the leader, the national leader of the country, right? But then you'll have some other people, right? And that is why in this very country, I think the government supports the church a lot. They don't really want to fight with the church.
Yeah,
because after all, a lot of people still support it.
Yeah, that's a really interesting point. And so again, to use America as an example, America has in its constitution that there's supposed to be a brick wall between church and state. Church has no business telling the state what to do, and vice versa, which sounds like a really logical, rational thing to put in your constitution. But and then so conversely, the Queen is the head of the Church of England. Okay, the church and state are inseparable in the UK. The UK is one of the most secular countries I've ever been to. Almost everyone I know is atheist, or at least secular. No one knows anything about religion, about the history of religion. It is a very secular country. Look at America. I don't need to tell you the rest of that sentence. I mean, they're fanatics. That hardly anyone believes in evolution, and they think that we should ban Darwin from schools, and that that people believe in angels and all of this nonsense. And yeah, I think Russia's closer to Britain in that way, that there is this church and state are obviously very closely related in Russia as well.
I think it's even now it's even a part of the constitution. They changed the constitution I think it was a year ago. I can be mistaken because time flies. And now the word God is used in the constitution. So according to Russian law, God is real.